Like, wow, when we went into this, I had no idea. I was not expecting for one bag to absolutely crush the other one the way that it did. Today, we're going to be putting these two travel camera bags up against each other. It's the Nomadic Peter McKinnon Camera Bag versus the Peak Design Travel Backpack 45 liter. Both of these bags were designed with lots of space for camera gear, as well as enough space to travel for 2 to 5 days. These are probably not daily carry bags for most people. They are big bags. I like big bags, and I cannot lie. The versions of these bags that I'm going to be showing you today are the base model versions. Both of these companies make a ton of awesome accessories that you can kit these things out with, but I wanted to keep it simple. That being said, the Peak Design does have the medium camera cube, and I'll talk about that in a bit. I've created a handful of different categories that are important to me when I'm choosing a bag. We're going to go through all of them and tally up at the end and see which of these bags is the winner. Keep in mind that the winner of each category is based on my own personal preference in backpacks, so what you can do is actually tally up as we go through this video, and at the end, leave a comment below and let me know if you got the same score or something different. Okay, let's kick things off with our first category, weight. When you're traveling with a big bag like this, every pound counts, so having a lighter backpack can make a difference. In this case, the Peak Design is 4.5 pounds and the Nomadic is 5.75 pounds. That being said, once you add a camera cube into the Peak Design, you add just over a pound, so they come out pretty much even. Now, my personal experience is that the Peak Design does feel lighter, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more later, and since on paper they're about the same, we're going to call this one a tie. The next category is capacity. The Peak Design has 3 states. There's a 30 liter, 35, and 45 liter. The Peter McKinnon Camera Bag is 35 liters and 42 liters when you expand it. From a practical standpoint, when I pack these both up, you get about the same amount of stuff in them. So while I appreciate that the Peak Design has more options as far as how you can have it, category 2 is going to be a tie. Next, we have the price, and neither of these are budget backpacks by any means. The Peak Design comes in at $300 and the Nomadic comes in at $400, but that price on the Peak Design is for the backpack only. So where you would keep your camera gear is just a wide open space, and you need to have a camera cube, which is an extra expense. There are 3 different size camera cubes. The one that I like the best is the medium size one, and it is $70. So now we're looking at $370 versus $400. We're a lot closer, but since the Peak Design has the customizability and is still a little bit cheaper, this category goes to Peak Design. Next on the list, we've got the size of the bags. The Peak Design is 22 inches by 13 inches by 9.5 inches, and the Nomadic is 22 inches by 13.5 inches by 9 inches. Both of them have extendable fronts that allow them to have a little bit more space, but they both extend by about 1.5 inches. However, the Peak actually goes the other way, and this is one of the big problems that I had originally with the Nomadic, is that it's a big bag and you can't make it any smaller. Even if you're not carrying a lot of gear, it's still huge. The Peak Design, on the other hand, you can actually compress, so you get a little bit of a smaller footprint when you're not using it in its full capacity. It might not seem like a big deal, but once you've offloaded some of your stuff at your hotel room, this actually makes a big difference when you're using it as a daily carry bag. So even though they're nearly the same size when expanded, for the versatility, this one goes to Peak Design. All right, next let's take a look at the exterior pockets for both of these bags. Starting with the Peak Design, we've got a front easy access pocket. It's about 5 inches deep, and it's got a nice soft material on the inside, so you can put your wallet, your keys, your glasses, whatever in there. There's a sneaky little card pocket on your back here. It is a little bit tough to get into, and it's just big enough to hold this handy dandy little Peak Design ID card. One of my favorite features on the Peak Design is that we've got dual water bottle pockets. So on both sides of the backpack, you've got a slot for a water bottle or a tripod or whatever you want. I really wish that more camera bags had water bottle / tripod pockets on both sides. It's so handy. And both of the water bottle pockets actually have a little pocket hidden in the back of them as well. It's a little tough to get stuff in there if you're using the water bottle pocket, but if you're not using it, then you've got an extra little zip pocket if you need it, or if you wanted to carry something that could lay flat in there. And on the front at the bottom, we've got this kind of hidden pocket that's got magnets, and inside there you could put a rain fly It's also got these handy little straps so that you can strap something to the bottom of your bag if you want to, or up like this across the front. And if you don't want the straps in there, if you want to put something else in there, you can just take them off or just tuck them away. All right, let's take a look at exterior pockets on the Nomatic. So we've got a similar front easy access pocket. This one is about 7 inches deep, so it's a little bit deeper than the other one, and it's kind of got a plasticky inside. I do prefer the soft one on the Peak design, but it doesn't make a big difference. We've got a single water bottle or tripod pocket on one side, and it's very cool because it's got magnets that hold it flush against the body when you're not using it. So when you want to use it, toss that in there. When you're done with it, it magnetizes closed and it's nice and flat. Really nice, thoughtful design there. That's pretty much it for exterior pockets on this guy. The only other one is the laptop pocket, but we're gonna talk about that in its own category. For a plethora of exterior pockets and options and thoughtful design, the winner is gonna be Peak design in this category. Moving back to the Peak design, let's talk about carrying handles. On the Peak design, we've got a handle up at the top like you would expect. We've got one on the back so you can carry it kind of duffel bag style. We've got a handle on each side that kind of goes into the water bottle pocket. And then we've also got one on the bottom just in case you need to two-hand it or carry it upside down. The main top handle is actually surprisingly comfy. It's not a huge handle, but it's nice to grab onto and it's got a certain amount of squish to it. So even if your bag is packed full of stuff and you need to carry it by that, it's going to be nice and easy on your hand. The one on the back is a little bit thinner so it doesn't press into your back, but similar material. The side ones are a little bit more rigid and the bottom actually matches the materials on the bottom, and so again, it's kind of thinner and not as comfortable as that one on the top. Basically, they made the ones that I use the most comfortable, so I'm okay with that. And you can use the Peak design back handle as a luggage pass-through as well. On the Peter McKinnon bag, we've actually got two handles at the top. We've got this huge, super squishy, soft thing that's just so nice to carry. Then we've got this little one that looks like maybe it's more meant for hanging than carrying. We've got a handle on either side and one on the bottom, but in this case, we don't have that back handle. That being said, we do have a cool luggage pass-through that you can use here, so they've both got that going for them. The one thing that I would say, even though the top handle on this one is uber comfy, the side handles feel like they're almost too tight to the body, like they went for aesthetics over functionality on that. They're not super comfortable to grab, and it's hard to get your hand in there just because they're a little tight to the body. And that goes for that bottom handle too. So really there's only one handle that I like using on this one. So even though I think I like this single top handle better on the Nomatic, I'm gonna give that category overall to Peak design. Okay, next we're talking about straps. I was actually kind of surprised with how much I like the straps on the Peak design. They look like they're gonna be a little bit thin, maybe not so comfortable, but they've got a decent amount of squish to them and they're not overbearingly large. I really love the design that they have for the flap that would normally hang out when you tighten up your backpack, and then you got these two dangly guys at the bottom. They've got a system here where it catches it. I've seen some other companies, including Nomatic, where they put a little elastic here, but you're constantly moving it, constantly changing it. This just always catches it, always stays against that other strap. And while we're at it, actually the chest strap is fantastic too. When it's not in use, you actually connect both ends of the chest strap to the same side. And then that way, again, you don't have two dangling things on either side of you. It's adjustable to several positions on either side, depending on where you need it. And when you want to use it, you just detach it from the one side, attach it to the other one, and now you got a nice chest strap. Really love that design. It's also got a built-in waist strap, even though you can't see it right now. So on either side, there's a magnet flap, so you can see the magnets there, and tucked into the back, there's your waist strap. This button right here is actually the spinning point for the waist strap. They've also got some attachment points on one side of the waist strap, and on the other side, they've got a little zipper pouch. At first, I was skeptical that I wouldn't like the way that you attach it because it's got this little like hook system instead of like a latch, but honestly, it works really well. And when you're not using it, I love that you can just tuck it away, but still have it on you. On some other bags, you can detach the waist strap, but then you have to find somewhere to store it. And if you store it in the bag, it takes up space in the bag, and this is just a really, really genius solution. And I was worried about the bulging that would happen from tucking them in there, but you don't feel it at all. And then just to add to the genius of this thing, you could actually tuck your shoulder straps as well. They're on those same rotating buttons, so you just pull up the magnetic hiding flap here, and you tuck away your shoulder straps. And my first thought this is gonna be funny to some of you, was won't that feel bad on your back? Isn't it gonna be like lumpy? And then I realized you can't put it on your back without the shoulder straps. This is duffel bag mode. So this is where you would grab it by this handle, carry it like that. Absolutely love that. Even just for around the office, so neat looking without the straps hanging out. Okay, moving over to the Nomadic straps. These things are quite a bit squishier and thicker than the Peak design, but they're also really stiff. When you first look at them and first touch them, you think they're gonna be super comfy, but I actually had some problems with these kind of not being as comfortable as I wanted them to be. I thought they might break in eventually, but I've used it quite a bit and they're still stiff. One thing that's very cool about these straps is that you can actually adjust them at the top. So if you tighten it up or loosen it off, you can actually kind of change where the pressure is on your back and shoulders. So if you've got this bag on for a long time, you can kind of adjust it as necessary, or if you're taller or shorter and you need it a little bit different. The chest strap is movable. You can move it to a bunch of different spots. And like I was saying before, it's kind of got that classic clasp on it. Back to the danglies. And as I was mentioning, the Nomadic has that little elastic band so that you can hold that extra flap against the other strap. But I often find that it slides up on its own like that, and I have to keep pushing it down to get it to hold in place. There is also a waist strap, and it goes just under here. Like I was talking about before, it is detachable and you have to store it somewhere, so I actually keep it inside the bag most of the time. And the way that you attach it is just by sliding it under here, and there's a little piece of Velcro right in the middle. So once you get it to the right spot, it holds in place. It's got some attachment points if you want to attach things to it, and it uses kind of a classic plastic clasp. Classic plastic clasp, classic plastic clasp. It's hard to say. I will admit to not using that very often just because I find the kind of setup and teardown of the whole thing to be kind of annoying. So with the hiding straps and the cool way to keep things all contained, Peak Design is the winner of that category again. Okay, let's talk about access as far as getting inside the bag. Starting off with the Peak Design, we've got access to the front pocket, classic front flap. Then we've got access on the back to the camera cube portion. And then on both sides, to go along with the dual water bottle pockets, we've got full side access. So if you're someone who likes this to make sure you can get your camera easy, that's there for you. But also I love the fact that you can get into the top part of it as well. And again, having it on both sides is super handy. And then on the Peter McKinnon bag, we've got a similar front pocket. And I actually like the flap on this one goes all the way down to the bottom, so it splays open nicely. We've got the back opening for the camera cube. Again, nice full open. And then on one side, the opposite side of the water bottle pocket, we've got a partial access. So on this side, you can get into your camera stuff, but you can't really get up to the top section. So as far as easy access into the bag, I've got to give it to Peak Design again. They've got the front, the back, and both sides that open the entire way, and that makes a huge difference for me. And while we're talking about getting into the bag, zippers. This is a huge part of backpacks. If you have annoying zippers, it is the worst.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The Peak Design has a couple of different zipper pulls. I really like this nice minimal loop that they've got going on for the main back compartment. And then they've also got a smaller version for some of the other pulls, but it's still got a nice loop at the end and it's still nice and clean looking. These zippers, and this is gonna sound totally weird, are the smoothest zippers that I've ever used. Something about this corner on a lot of camera bags gets really difficult for some zippers. But this one, nice easy pull all the way down. I want to put it back up. Not even just, it's so smooth. That was probably the first thing that I noticed when I got this bag, is just how easy it was to get in because that zipper is so smooth. And the rest of the zippers on the bag are also really nice for that too. The only problem that I ran into on the side pocket, every once in a while it gets caught in the middle here. There is an attachment point on the inside and the seam just seems to hit this. It pulls over it pretty easy most of the time, but every once in a while it does get caught. One thing that I like about the Peter McKinnon bag is that some of the zipper pulls have this nice Peter McKinnon and Nomadic thing going on it, but a lot of the other ones just have this weird kind of shrink wrap knob on the end of them. And for how clean this bag looks, it kind of looks a little bit messy. And unfortunately, the main zippers to get into the camera compartment are not smooth. I almost always struggle to get it past that top corner.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Which is really too bad. They're really nice, big, hefty zippers. You've got the little spot for the lock if you want it and everything, but that one little spot makes it so annoying to get into the bag. The other zippers around the rest of the bag do a pretty good job. I've never run into any major problems except for that one spot. So once again, the winner in this category goes to Peak Design. Let's talk laptop pockets. I mentioned earlier that the laptop pocket on the Nomadic was actually an exterior pocket, whereas the laptop pocket on the Peak Design is actually inside the bag. Let's grab a laptop. So this is my 15-inch 2017 MacBook Pro, and on the Peak Design, we go into the back compartment. There's a little Velcro at the top. And no problem, lots of room. You could probably fit a slightly larger laptop in there if you needed to. And there's a pocket on the front with another little Velcro piece that's, I think, intended for a tablet. I use it for a couple of gray cards and white cards and a notebook. Now, the downside to that is that you have to open up that back compartment. You don't have to open it all the way, but you do have to get it a decent amount open to be able to get your laptop in and out of there. One of the things that I really love about the Peter McKinnon bag is that it's easy to get to your laptop. On the back, right beside the big main zipper, there's another smaller zipper, and that's where you put your laptop. And it is big. You could fit a significantly larger laptop in there if you wanted. There is a decent amount of padding behind it as well, so it's giving you good protection. But I just find that there are a lot of times when I have my backpack that all I want to get out of it is my laptop. And so it's nice to have that access on kind of the outside layer rather than having to dig in. Also, the material that's on the inside of this laptop pocket is really nice and soft, so you know it's going to be nice on your laptop. So laptop pocket category goes to the Nomadic bag. Let's take a look at the interior front pocket. So on the Peak Design, the front pocket doesn't actually open up all the way to the bottom, which I kind of wish it did. It does create this nice little pocket down here, but I do like the idea of it flipping all the way open instead of having this fold here. The flap itself has two pockets, one that you can see through and then one that you can't. This is some kind of a like rubber mesh type thing. So if you needed a breathable pocket, this would be a good one. And inside there are actually a couple of little elasticy kind of organizer spots for pens and pencils and such. Toothbrush or I don't know, whatever else. On the other side, we've got another two pockets. Same kind of deal. The bottom one you can't see into, and it's actually got access from the camera side if I didn't have the camera cube in there. So if you were just using this as a travel backpack with no camera cube in there, you could access it from either side. And then the top mesh pocket, same deal. You can access that from either side. And this one you can actually get to from the top section above where the camera cube is. And then one of the things that I like about this design is that you can actually unzip this whole front section and open it up to get access into the back. Now, right now I've got the camera cube in there, so it's taking up half the space, but you get the idea. And this is the portion of the bag that's actually expandable if you need a little bit of extra space for your clothes or whatever. There's one zipper on either side, and then you get about 1.5 inches of extra space right from the bottom, most of the way up to the top. Just a little bit of extra space. Even the front zipper pull is just so nice. Peak Design. And then we've got the front pocket of the Nomadic Peter McKinnon bag. And I've got my waist strap in there. I love that this opens up all the way like this. On this side, we've got 4 elastic pockets that you can put things in if you want. And then there's this compression strap. So if you put any clothes or anything down under there, you can tighten it down. And on the other side of the flap, we've actually got 3 pockets. We've got one bottom one top one, and then one that runs all the way behind both of those pockets. So that could be for like pants or something like that. And just like the other bag, this one also extends to get you that 42 liters. Though it does it in slightly a different way. So it extends mostly in the bottom and then gradually gets shallower as you get up to the top. So you're getting like 2.5, maybe 3 inches down at the bottom, and you're getting probably less than 1 inch by the time you get to the top. So for the front interior pockets, I do appreciate the extra access that you can get to go through this one, but I do love the way that this opens all the way. So I guess we're gonna have to go with another tie. All right, moving on to the interior of the bags, we're gonna look at the camera compartment. So like I mentioned with the Peak Design bag, you've actually got options of which camera cube you want to put into it. So it gives you the option of versatility, but the camera cube does also take up a little bit of space. So where the camera cube closes, you can see the flap is actually hidden back here, and some of the zippers do kind of roll over and get a little bit in the way. So this nice big empty space that you've got in here gets a little bit smaller just because you've got that extra padding all around. Personally, I have the medium camera cube and the large camera cube, which takes up the whole space, but I really like the medium one, and then this can just be flexible space. Not to mention, if I want to put it into 30-liter mode, there are little buttons in here that I clip. And now because this space is slightly smaller, the large camera cube doesn't fit so well in there. So using the medium one gives me more flexibility in that realm as well. Unfortunately, I don't have the small camera cube, but the other thing I believe you can do is use a medium one and the small one in the top section. Most of the time, I actually have the Peak Design tech pouch up in that top section and a microphone or some little accessories or something like that. If you have the medium cube in here and you've got this space, you actually have access to this pocket right here that also connects to the front side. So you've got access to that pocket from either side of the bag. The other thing to note about the Peak Design is that it's actually about 6 inches deep. So you've got a really good depth if you're like me and you like to have your camera in there sideways. I actually really like to access my camera from the back of the backpack like this, so it's nice. I just grab from the handle, pull it out, and I'm good to go. The camera space in the Nomadic backpack is huge. It's so much space. And because you don't have to put a camera cube in it, you don't take up any extra space along the outside. The only downside to it is that it's only 5 inches deep, so it's a little harder to do that sideways camera trick. The handle of my camera sticks up a little bit over the edge, and so if I have anything on the other side, it gets a little bit hard to close. On the other side of this pocket, we've actually got something kind of similar to what we saw in the Peak Design, where there is a Velcro strap at the top, and that goes into a tablet sleeve. If you really wanted, you could probably fit a 13-inch laptop in there. And then you've got a couple of mesh pockets here with zippers that you can put your accessories and such. That can be pretty handy. So as far as the actual camera compartment, I'd say they pretty much come out even there. So we're gonna go with a tie in that category. Next is dividers. In the Peak Design camera cube, we've got these really nice thin dividers. There is a certain amount of protection to them, but they don't take up a whole lot of space, which is a problem I've seen in some other bags. It comes with a decent variety of different styles. There are some like straight ones and some of these big, really long ones, so you can do bigger sections. And then they've also got these really cool ones that have this dual folding shelf on them. So if you want, you can actually get something underneath. For example, my 55 and 35, I'll often put one underneath, put the shelf up, and then put one on top. So basically I've got 2 lenses in the space that normally only one could use. And one of my favorite things is this. There's a little Velcro floating pocket that you can put anywhere inside your camera cube. Right now I've got a bunch of microfiber cloths in there for cleaning. I just kind of tuck it away in here. And you basically just got a movable, invisible pocket. As far as the dividers go in the Peter McKinnon bag, we've got a lot of these really long ones, and then we've also got a couple of little short ones. Some of the long ones don't actually have any bending points, so you're really just stuck with using them as big, long lines. But generally with a space this wide open, you probably want to use them that way anyway. And the short ones do have a neat little design where you've got this extra Velcro, so it is reversible. You can do it either way. And of course, it's a nice touch that they've got the little skull and cross knives for Peter the Pirate. The one thing that I can say about the camera compartment dividers is that I wish that the Peter McKinnon one came with a couple more. The Peak Design came with extras. I think I actually took some out of there. And I really like some of the innovation with the folding shelf one and that extra little pocket too. Hey, Editor Dunna here. I wanted to just quickly go back to these for a second from the Peter McKinnon bag. I feel like I kind of undersold them a little bit. They are quite flexible. You can actually build like a little shelf if you want to. There's a lot that you can do with it. I still just wish it came with more of them. Okay, back to the other thing. So in that category, Peak Design is the winner again. Okay, let's talk about comfort. Earlier I mentioned that the Peak Design felt lighter than the Nomadic, even though they're basically the same weight. And I think the reason for that is actually the comfort of it. Even though some of the materials on the Nomadic feel kind of squishier and like they should be comfier, I found it really stiff. The Peak, on the other hand, has a certain amount of flexibility to it that I think allows it to kind of conform to you. Not only do I think it's a little bit more comfortable, but like I said before, I think that makes it feel almost lighter. So in the comfort category, again, I have to go with the Peak Design. The next category is materials. Both of these bags are definitely rugged and made to beat up. I've definitely put both these bags through their paces and had no problem whatsoever. That being said, for whatever reason, I do feel like the Nomadic seems like it has a more kind of premium material feel to it. So in this category, I'm gonna give it to the Nomadic. Next, we've got aesthetics. Now, obviously this is super subjective, and I personally think they're both really good looking bags. The Peak design, we've got kind of this more rugged kind of look, and because it's a little bit more flexible, you definitely get these like little wrinkles and folds in it. Whereas the Nomadic kind of stays really sleek and Batman looking. This thing has been thrown around a lot and it looks almost like the day I bought it, with the exception of some of the scuffs and dirt on the front. So again, comes down to personal preference, but I do think that aesthetically, I prefer the Nomadic. So once we tally up the points, you can see that the Peak design comes out way ahead. Like, wow, when we went into this, I had no idea. I was not expecting for one bag to absolutely crush the other one the way that it did. Okay, but there are some overall thoughts that kind of bring this a little bit back together. First of all, these are both fantastic bags. They are meticulously put together and incredibly well thought out. I think that what we're really seeing in those numbers is that the Peak design just kind of edged ahead a little bit in a lot of categories. It's not that the Nomadic is bad by any means, it's just that the Peak had all these cool little features or little touches that made it a little bit better in a bunch of different categories. As always, links for these bags are going to be down in the description if you want to check them out any further. And in case you were interested, there is 1 week left to get the bonus package if you sign up for my Patreon. Go check it out. I'll leave that link down below as well. And I would love to see you guys down in the comments. Let me know what you think of these bags, as well as what your count was from the competition. And on your way down there, hit that like and subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on future reviews and tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Not super smooth, but they do